And with that, the matter was settled. Jackson's attention drifted as the council moved on to the next item, Bill 1357G. These proceedings rarely concerned Earth, and in the unlikely event a vote was called, Jackson had a couple of days to decide. The Intergalactic Council of Planetary Alliances, or ICPA, was a slow-moving machine, and his position held little real meaning. Earth had only been on the council for 250 years and had a single diplomat, a meager representation compared to the Aspen's 7. Jackson quite enjoyed his low-stress diplomatic role. He could sit comfortably in his chair, sipping his whiskey, and observe the hundreds of delegates from across the galaxy settling petty disputes like squabbling schoolchildren. Earth preferred to handle its affairs more directly and peacefully, having not seen war in over 3 centuries. Humans were considered a Class 1 species, though their relative height belied their lack of obvious defensive capabilities, leading many to mistakenly categorize them as Class 2. But Jackson cared little for such distinctions, as long as trade remained strong and humanity continued to prosper. The Xyloth, as Jackson referred to them, were a tall, ant-like species with brilliant blue exoskeletons and claws, and they were often up to mischief. The Xyloth claimed the human home planet and its colonies based on might and valor, seeing as the humans have none and cannot hope to win us in an all-out war, the ambassador declared. This was not ideal news. Intergalactic conflict was nasty business, expensive, and something no one wanted. But the Avians and Voidwalkers had sided with the Xyloth's claim. The Ambrosian ambassador now stood in the center of the circular arena, and Jackson knew what would come next. If he did not meet the ambassador in the ring to battle, it would signify his people's forfeit and an automatic victory for the Xyloth. "We do not wish to fight," Jackson replied calmly, removing his jacket and tie. The Ambrosian was a good meter taller, and the fight that ensued was one-sided, with Jackson dodging blows until the Ambrosian caught him by the neck. "We do not want to fight," Jackson repeated, each word more strained than the last. He then ripped the claw in two, using the smaller half to pierce the Xyloth's exoskeleton. The room fell silent. "But we will," Jackson said, fixing his shirt and tie. "Humanity refuses the Ambrosian claim and wishes them good luck in the coming war, as they will need it." "Yes, ma'am, I'm afraid that is the case. The Xyloth have declared war on humanity. And I was having such a lovely day." "I'm sorry, Major, I attempted to prevent it, but the challenger had support and challenged me to the ring." "The ring?" "Ah, yes. You haven't witnessed the ring in action before. The ring is essentially a tool the Class 1 species use to keep Class 2 species in check. Whenever a species thinks they can claim another species' land, they must first challenge them to the ring before they can start a war. If the challenged species refuses to meet the challenger in the ring, they will forfeit, and the claim is legitimate. But what if the challenger loses? Then they are still free to wage war and take their claim, but must do so alone, without the backing of ICPA. "This is bad news, Lieutenant. What's their fighting capabilities?" "Well, they have one of the largest armies in the Alliance, but their ships are large and slow. They will most likely try to fight us on the ground, rather than risking a space battle. I'm afraid we need to awaken Starseed. I'll arrange a meeting with the HPA right away. Try to convince them. And I'm sorry that you had to go through that, John." "Thank you, Zara. And before you sign off, congratulations on the baby. I can't wait to see her." There was a knock on the door and a brown head peeked in. "Jackson, is it all right if I come in?" "Valder, please do. I was just teleconferencing with the head of Earth Intergalactic Affairs about the current situation." Valder was a member of a Class 2 species who had adapted and even in extreme cases, fused with nature as a means of survival. During their time as ambassadors, the two had grown close, although Valder's taste for Belgian ale and country music might have had something to do with it. "Ah, yes, the situation is not good, is it? I don't understand why you did not give in to his demands. Don't get me wrong, what you did in the ring was amazing and a bit scary. I had no idea you could do that, but how do you even hope to win a war against the Xyloth?" Jackson poured them both a glass of expensive whiskey, one of the perks of the job being a steady supply of those for diplomatic reasons. Valder, what do you know of humanity and its history? He asked. Well, you achieved intergalactic travel capabilities about 280 years ago. You're a mostly unified, peaceful planet who deals in trade. You come from a mostly barren solar system, and you are doing quite well for yourselves and have helped many planets advance their fields of medicine and science, Valder replied. That's about it, I guess, but it's also wrong. You see, we achieved the means to travel to other planets about 500 years ago. We were ecstatic. There is nothing we have dreamed about more or more unified about than space. But what we found was horrible. A few species that you would call Class 1 had bounded together and were using other species of our system for slavery and nutrition. All my skies, Valder uttered, their version of, oh my God. This left us with three choices: join them, join the slaves, or fight. Luckily, we found them first, so we did what we do best. We fought, and we fought hard. Earth at that time was heavily separated, but we created alliances to fight them. The war was bloody and long, but in the end, we stood victorious, but at a great cost. That's when we found the ICPA and with it our second chance. We did not want to become the bloody warriors that our ancestors were, but we did not forget them. We hid our warships and our weapons, but we still train our soldiers. We're not stupid. We knew the day would come that we would have to fight. I just hoped I would never see it. And what happens now, John? On my many visits to Earth, I have seen very few soldiers. Now, regrettably, we must now rouse our war fleet and ready ourselves for battle. You have not seen many soldiers because we don't have any. We have people, and much like they did in ancient Swiss, every one of those people is trained to fight. We do not want to fight because we have become so very good at it. There was a loud explosion. The whole ship shook and sparks of electricity flew through the air. Sir, we can't hold them back longer. Don't you worry, lad. If all goes to plan, we won't have to, replied the ship's captain, Gunnar Fjordson. Harold is built much like you would expect a sea captain to be. He was large, strong, with a mighty belly and a great big bushy beard. We've held them back so far, haven't we? What's to stop us from holding back any longer, lad? Reinforcements are on their way. Aye, sir. Poor lad. Captain Barclay thought to himself, he's not built for this. None of them are. Not even my dear ship was built for this. Captain Barclay and his men had been on a mining expedition when the news of the war broke out, and all able ships had been called to arms. The HMS Maria was a sturdy bunker of a ship, built to survive the harshest radiation and equipped with powerful lasers to mine with. But it was not built to hold back enemy ships. The command had been clear. All able ships were to hold back the enemy to give the homeland a chance to ready arms. Though he had failed his own daughter, he would not fail his homeland. Sir, the shields are failing. I'm afraid we don't have much time left, said the helmsman. Very well, let us see what they are made of. Captain Barclay pushed the helmsman out of the way and grabbed the controls, setting course straight for the enemy's ship. He would not fail the homeland. Yes, Lucius, replied Major Zara Leithing. The preparations are done. Starseed has awoken.
You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.